back to my channel. Today's video is kind of different. Today I'm going to be showing you what Friday night food looks like for me and my family. You guys are always sending me a lot of questions asking if we, ever indulge or if we eat differently on the weekends. So I'm going to show you what Friday night looks like for us. So I'm going to be showing you guys how I make our homemade pizza and Strombolis. And Strombolis are just like a fancy braided pizza, and that's what I will make if we're having company or if I need to take food to somebody's house. It's just a little fancier. And then I'm also going to show you a really simple, yummy dessert that we enjoy a lot on the weekends as well. So I know you guys are going to have a lot of questions about whether this is good for weight loss or not. So I will cover that for you guys. So typically with the pizza, that's fine to have during weight loss the way I'm going to show you guys, but don't have it every night because using things like flour are definitely a lot higher in calories and they can add up. But doing this on a Friday night is not really going to impact your weight loss as long as you're still using the 50-50 plate and omitting the nut cheese that I'm going to use tonight. But if you're maintaining your weight, this is perfectly fine to eat a little bit more regularly. Again, the nut cheese is something you don't want to have too often if you find that your weight does start to go up if you're adding in too many fats from nuts and seeds and avocados. But if you're following the rules for maximum weight loss, then you can still do this once in a while, do it on a Friday, use the 50-50 plate method, and you should do just fine. And if you don't know what the rules for maximum weight loss are, but you want to know, just go and check out my maximum weight loss playlist. I will link it for you guys below. All right, let's get cooking. Okay, so I'm gonna actually start with making dessert because it needs about 20 to 30 minutes to set up. So the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this vanilla pudding. The glare is kind of strong. I'm gonna take this vanilla pudding from Whole Foods, and it is vegan. It says back here, it doesn't say on the front, so just look on the back and it says it's vegan. So it does have sugar in it. So if you're trying to completely avoid sugar, then don't use this. But I'm showing you honestly what Friday night looks like in our house. So I'm going to make this vanilla pudding, and then I'm gonna put that on top of chopped strawberries, topped with some mini chocolate chips. Okay, so the first thing I'm gonna do is pour 2 cups of any plant milk that I have. This is just unsweetened almond milk, but you can use soy milk or whatever. All right, so I'm gonna pour this into this bowl, and these are just the directions that come on the back of this pudding packet. They also have a chocolate one that is vegan, so you can do vanilla or chocolate. Vanilla is personally my favorite. So I'm gonna pour that into here. You just want it to be cold. It'll help it set up faster. All right, so you're gonna take your opened packet of pudding powder and you're just gonna slowly whisk it in. Don't pour it in too fast or it gets clumpy. All right, so that's all mixed in. So all I'm gonna do is cover it and pop it in the fridge and then pull it out after dinner when we're ready to use it. Okay guys, so when it comes to making a pizza dough, like everything, I try to keep it as simple as possible. Just because I'm making my dough at home, don't think that I enjoy cooking, because I don't. I am making my dough from scratch because I don't live near a well-stocked grocery store where I could already buy pizza dough already made. Whole Foods sells pizza dough already made, so does Trader Joe's, and Trader Joe's has a really yummy herbed pizza dough that you can get, and then you can throw those in the freezer or you can roll them out as soon as you get them and make your pizzas. So do what's ever easiest for you. So I have an exact recipe for this in my cookbook, but pizza dough is really forgiving. At least that's what I've learned as a lazy cook. So I'm gonna show you guys how forgiving it can be and how easy it is to just kind of throw ingredients together and still get a great pizza dough. All right, so the first thing I'm gonna do is put in some whole wheat flour. Now I like a white whole wheat flour. I just feel like it's less dense than a straight up whole wheat flour. So I'm gonna put in about 3 to 3.5 cups. About a half. And then to that, I'm gonna add some garlic powder because we love a garlicky pizza crust. Probably just add like 1 teaspoon, like a half a teaspoon of salt. And then normally I have a jar of active dry yeast or rapid rise yeast, and I just put in a couple teaspoons of that, but I'm all out and I happen to have a packet, so I'm just gonna put a packet in there. Now it is important that it's active dry yeast or rapid rise. That way you're not having to proof it and get it going, which is part of what makes this so forgiving. So I'm just gonna add that. And then to that, I'm just gonna add a snack cup size of applesauce. And this replaces the oil that generally gets put into pizza doughs. Okay, so now I'm gonna take that and I'm gonna put it here on my KitchenAid. Now to get it mixing, I'm just gonna use this paddle attachment. So I'm gonna turn it on real low and then I'm gonna slowly add a cup of warm water. Okay, so this came together and you can see it's not too sticky, but it's not too dry, and so I didn't end up using all of the water. So you just kind of need to keep an eye on it. So now I'm gonna switch from this paddle attachment to my dough hook, and then I'm gonna let this knead for 5 to 10 minutes. Okay, so now that it's done kneading, you can see it's not sticky and it definitely springs kind of back. It just feels elasticy when you push into it, and that's exactly how you want it to feel. And this only took about 5 minutes. So all I'm gonna do is put it back in the bowl and I'm gonna cover it with a little foil and let it sit there for 30 minutes. All right, so while the dough is sitting for 30 minutes, I'm gonna take that time to chop the vegetables and roast them. That way they're ready to go. And this way you're not waiting around for 3 hours for pizza dough to rise. You can also at this point put the dough in the freezer or put it in the fridge, and then when you're ready to use it in a few days, you can just take it out, bring it up to room temperature, and then it's ready to use. All right, so I'm just gonna chop up some bell peppers, red onion, and mushrooms. I'm also gonna add a little broccoli to this before I roast it. All right, and then I'm gonna season it with a little garlic salt. I feel like garlic salt makes everything taste really yummy. Of course, if you are salt-free, you can just leave this off. All right, so now I'm gonna roast it at 425 for about 20 minutes. All right, so we also really like sliced olives and pineapple on our pizza, so I'm just gonna go ahead and drain these so that they're ready to go. Now my dough is risen. And it didn't rise a ton, but it definitely fluffed up a little bit. So I'm just gonna use half of this because I'm gonna show you 2 ways to make a pizza. So I'm gonna make a normal pizza, and then I'm gonna show you guys a Stromboli, and it's something pretty to make to take to somebody's house or when you have company. All right, so all I'm gonna do is put a little flour down. And I kind of like to make a circle to start with, just like this nice disc, because I am not like a great dough roller. So then I'm just gonna roll out and keep turning it. All right, so it's nice and rolled out. It's nice and thin because we like a crispy pizza. So all I'm gonna do is take this and kind of just roll it on my rolling pin, and that way it's easier to transfer to my pizza stone. Now I highly recommend a pizza stone. It's just gonna change the way your dough tastes and feels tremendously. It's worth the $12 to $16. I think I got this one on sale for $12 at the grocery store, but you can get them at Walmart or Target, and I'll try to find a link for you guys as well. So now I'm just gonna put some cornmeal down so my dough doesn't stick to my pizza stone. Here's my pizza. So now I'm just going to fold the crust. And I am not like a skilled crust folder, so, you know, just kind of make it up as you go. I just kind of hold it and then just pinch down the side of my finger, and it just makes kind of this pretty pattern. All right, and then because I haven't heated my pizza stone ahead of time, I'm just gonna pop it in the oven for 5 minutes to get the crust going. That way we'll have a nice crispy pizza at the end. I don't heat my stone ahead of time because then I feel like I can't work on it because it's too hot, but it's up to you. All right, so this was in the oven for about 5 minutes, and as you can see, it's starting to brown a little bit, which is exactly what you want. So now I'm just gonna put some marinara sauce on it, and you can find oil-free marinara at the regular grocery store. You can also find it at Whole Foods. Whole Foods is out, so when they're out, I get this roasted garlic one. It only has 1/2 gram of fat per 1/2 cup, which is pretty good. It also has no added sugar, and it tastes fantastic. Just gonna add the sauce and spread it out. Put as little or as much as you like. All right, so now I'm gonna add the vegetables. You, of course, can add any vegetables that you like. I'm sorry about all the crunching noise. Nacho is over there eating his kibbles. All right, now I'm gonna add the pineapple tidbits. If you've never had pineapple on your pizza, it's seriously a revelation. It tastes so good. And then some olives. And I'm only gonna put olives on half because not everybody in my house likes olives. All right, and now I'm just gonna add a little bit of some homemade ricotta. If you're trying to lose weight, I would skip this because it is pure nuts. But my husband and kids love a little ricotta on theirs. All right, so now I'm gonna pop that back in the oven for about another 20 to 30 minutes. And real quick, I almost forgot, I am gonna take a little water and brush the crust because I don't like them being floury. That way it just kind of gets rid of that like dry, dusty flour. All right, so now I'm gonna show you how to make a stromboli, and a stromboli is basically just like a braided pizza. Oh, there was an olive in my dough. So in the 80s, this is what my mom always made if we were having company or if we had to take food over to a friend's house. It looks really pretty and it tastes really good. All right, so I'm gonna take the other half of my pizza dough, and this time I'm gonna make kind of an oval or a rectangle actually. And I'm just gonna roll it out. So you want it to be like this long, flat loaf. All right, and then I'm gonna move this to a parchment lined baking sheet. Okay, so I have placed this on a parchment lined baking sheet. Now this is a really big baking sheet, so you just make yours smaller to fit your baking sheet. So now I'm gonna cut an equal amount of slits on both sides so that we can braid this. Now you don't want them to be too thin because then they can break and look kind of funny. And you don't want to get too close to the middle. All right, so now I'm going to take some vegetables and put them down the middle. I'm going to add the fruit, some olives, and then I'm going to take the sauce and put it on top. And I am gonna add a little ricotta to this. Of course, this is optional. If you're trying to lose weight, I would not do this. I would wait to do the ricotta until you're at a place where you're just maintaining your weight. Okay, now for braiding it. It's really simple. You're just gonna start on the end and kind of fold it to the middle, and then take the other side and fold it to the middle and kind of lay it on top. You wanna kind of come down at an angle and make sure you're covering the tails of the previous ones. And then here at the end, you're just gonna come down over this piece, kind of pinch it together, and hopefully it stays. I've still not gotten as good at this as my mom is. And then I'm just gonna brush it with a little water to get rid of like this extra flour. And I'm gonna pop that in the oven at 425, and it'll take about 20 to 30 minutes. All right, so now I'm just gonna sprinkle a little chopped spinach on top, and it's ready to eat. Alright guys, so this is how I will serve myself. You can see I have a generous portion of steamed broccoli and cheese sauce, and then I've got 2 huge slices of pizza right here. Now, this will probably be enough food because you gotta remember, like, the pizza's loaded with vegetables, so I don't think I'll actually go back for seconds on this. But again, if I go back for seconds, I will just get more veggies and eat those first, and then if I want more pizza, then I'll go back and get more pizza. And that's how I've been able to maintain my like 70-pound weight loss without any trouble and still get to enjoy, you know, more refined foods like pastas and pizza. I also want to have room for dessert, so, you know. So the Stromboli is done. It's absolutely gorgeous. I always like to top it with a little chopped parsley and then a little cashew parmesan. All right guys, so for this strawberry vanilla dessert, it's seriously so easy. So I've got some fresh strawberries that I've washed, and I'm just gonna slice them up into my bowl. All right, so now I'm gonna take my pudding that I got out of the fridge, and it's all nice and set, and I'm just gonna put a little on top. And then my kids like to put these mini chocolate chips on. I find that they're cheapest at Walmart. Otherwise, you're gonna spend like $6 in the health food store. So I like Walmart because they're usually like under $4 there. I think it's too sweet to put those on, so I just put some, is it cacao? Cacao nibs on, and these aren't sweetened at all. But it gives you that chocolatey flavor, so I'm just gonna sprinkle some of those on. And that's it. So here's the dessert. See how gorgeous it is. It's so good. It's really mostly just a bowl of strawberries. You've got just a little bit of that chocolate crunch on there, and then some of that vanilla pudding. It is so good. I hope you guys give it a try and let me know what you think. So good. Alright guys, so that is it for me today. I hope you enjoyed seeing how easy it is to make pizza at home. Of course, you don't have to make your own crust at home, but you can pick some up again at like Whole Foods or Trader Joe's. And I'm sure lots of other grocery stores have pre-made doughs. Just make sure you're checking the fat content, Sometimes they add a bunch of oil, so that's something you definitely want to avoid, especially if you're trying to lose or maintain your weight on a plant-based diet. But I really wanted you guys to see what Friday night looks like for us, that we enjoy pizza and we enjoy dessert. I do try to keep dessert more on the healthful side, but I'm okay with the kids having a little bit of sugar and me having a little bit of sugar for myself as well. You know, you have to pick and choose what is helpful for you, what's adding to your goals, and what you're okay with. All right, remember to keep this journey about health and not just about the skinny. I love you guys, and I'll see you next time.